graphing sine and cosine functions. So we're talking about amplitudes, periods, phase shifts. So whenever we look at it, we know this formula is y equals a times the cosine or sine, whichever one we're working with, times b times x minus c plus d. This is the standard form setup, right? Formula for the function of this. However, if you look at this function here, it's not written in that format. What we see here is we have 4 minus that sign. So that means that 4 is d and it goes on the back. So let's just rewrite this. Okay, and let's label each part. Well, we know A is -1. So the amplitude is absolute value of A, which is absolute value of -1, which is 1. B here, we know is 1/4. C is 0. D is 4. So we already solved for the amplitude. We already know that that's 1. The period is going to be 2 pi over b, and b is 1/4. So I'm just going to do some basic math. So keep change flip, so it leaves me with 2 pi times that 4, which gives me 8 pi. Okay, now my phase shift we know is c, so it's 0. And then my range, well, since d is not 0, so anytime d is anything but 0, we're going to have to find the minimum and maximum. Okay, now if it was 0, then if d is 0, then the range would be our a value and its opposite. So it would have been -1 to 1. But d is not 0, so we have to do a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my a value and add it to my d value. My a value is -1 plus my d is 4. That gives me 3. My maximum says we're going to take the absolute value of the a, add it to the d. So the absolute value of -1 plus d gives me 5. So now my range is 3 to 5. So now let's start finding the rest of this. So we know that we have a period of 8 pi. So this wavelength is going to go for a period of 8 pi and then start over. We know it has an amplitude of 1. We know that it has a d value of 4. The d affects my y. The d tells me how it's going to stretch, right? If it's 0, if d was 0, then we would have had the wavelength go from -1 to 1, which is my a, right? My absolute value of a and a. But since we have d something else other than that, then that means whatever we got going on is going to stretch the function. All right, now let's talk a little bit more about this function. I notice it's a negative sign, so this tells me that the whole entire wavelength flips about the x-axis, which is a reflection about the x-axis. And when that happens, we have the minimum and maximums going on here too. Okay, so it's going to change a whole lot about our order pairs. So let's talk about the next 5 order pairs. Since it is a sine, we know that our order pairs will start at 0, 0. And what I'm going to do is find what this new function fell out. Now remember that the first order pair is coming from just this, y equals sine of x. All right, and then we're going to apply all this other stuff going on, and it's going to change it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the given and add my phase shift. What is my phase shift? 0, comma, and then my minimum from my range, which is 3. Which makes sense because the wavelengths go, but now it's going, okay, that's how it starts out. All right. So now my order pair is 0, 3. Now let's find the second order pair. Well, the second order pair, let's say that it said that it landed on half or pi halves, comma 1. So what we're going to do to change that order pair is now that you notice C is 0, that means the phase shift is 0. But wait a minute. we do have something going on around x. And our b value is 1/4 x, right? So our b value is going to factor in here. So I'm going to take this pi halves. I'm going to divide it by my b value. And I'm going to use the basic math of, keep, change, flip. So when I do that, now I get pi halves times that 4, which gives me 2 pi, comma. And then my d, or my y value here is going to be d. What is d? If we need to look up there again, it is 4. So this order pair is 2 pi, comma 4. Now let's look at our third order pair. Our third order pair said that it's going to happen at pi, comma 0. So what we need to do is take this x value, divide it by my b value. So now keep, change, flip. I got pi times that 4, which is what? 4 pi. And now let's find our y value. Our y value will be the maximum point of the range. So we got a max here, and that is 5. So this order pair is 4 pi, comma 5. Let's find our fourth order pair. Now remember, what we're doing is we're following these function out. So we're going like here, 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 oops, here. Okay, so, and that's not a very good drawing up. You'll be able to see it if you use the graphing calculator or Desmos, and it'll put the points on there for you and show you what we're talking about. Okay, so the next order pair said that it's going to occur at 3 pi halves, comma, -1. So now let's find where it should move to. So I'm going to take the 3 pi halves, divide it by b, which b is 1/4. Now keep, change, flip. I get this. Well, the 4 and the 2 reduces and leaves me with 2 times 3. So that reduces 2, that's 1. That gives me 6 pi. Now, my y value is going to be d. In this case, it's 4. So my order pair is 6 pi, comma 4. Now let's do where this function ends. It ends on 2 pi, comma 0. So let's change it. So we have 2 pi divided by 4, or b, which is 1/4. Keep, change, flip. 2 pi times 4 gives me 8 pi, comma, my minimum, because remember that's the belly of that, and that ends it. So now I have 8 pi, comma 3.